Hey everybody, Fred Lee Jones III. Welcome to a special episode of Movies on the Run. It is 12:35 in the AM, Friday, October 19th. And again, welcome to Movies on the Run. Today's episode will be the long-awaited sequel in a kind of way-ish reboot, reimagining, end all be all, whatever you want to call it, Halloween 2018. First things first, I enjoyed this movie. With Movies on the Run, we do everything, do our ratings by running distances, and let's go ahead and give you a refresher. That is a 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon, and the crazy ultra. Let me go ahead again and say this: I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. This movie is for the fans. I've seen other reviews where it's kind of like a mixed bag, and some of the people that I follow, the one out of three that I actually follow. I'm waiting actually for Lee McCoy's from Drum Dums to see what his is like. That way I can get the quadrant of reviewers for this film. So I'm gonna just go ahead and put my 2 cents in. This movie was, man, I see why it took them so long to like get a good story out. I love the fact that the movie is not so much like, oh, we got another Michael Myers movie coming. Let's see how we can scare the hell out of people. Let's watch people get killed. No, this movie had more of aspect in believability because it's more along the lines of like how trauma affects or has affected three generations of Strodes. That's like the main selling point of this. It's almost like this movie has been done before, where trauma has happened to one person, and then it affects the next generation, the next generation. Yeah, I mean we've seen it before, uh, but it was almost like I guess the best way to describe it is it's a story we've heard before, kind of like what Dimension has done with the Hellraiser series. The last after Bloodline, it just seems like they would take a script and throw Pinhead into it, and then it will be excuse me, it would turn out not so good. With this, it's the reverse but done better. You take a story we've heard before that we can rehash, like the next month and the month after that, and just throw something different, a different scenario in it, but they insert Michael Myers in it. How has trauma, your PTSD, which I thought that was like really cool how they did that, with Michael Myers, and it's like, how did it affect these three women? Man, let me tell you. And a matter of fact, what's so funny about it is it actually kind of goes through the different stages of like what actually happens. Like one, Jamie Lee Curtis is like uber paranoid, but then she's also an alcoholic to drink away everything that she's going through. Her daughter, who is basically, I don't want to say oblivious, but she's like that type of person. Like everything is love, and you know, there's no bad people in the world. And then you have the granddaughter who's like trying to bridge the gap between mother and daughter, grandmother and granddaughter, and just basically, teenage stuff. Uh, it was some good nods to this movie. Like there's so much stuff, and I do apologize if I'm like all scatterbrained. I'm like tired. I gotta get up in about 6 hours, 6, 7 hours to go to school, and then we got the Afro Comic Con Film Festival at SAE Expressions tonight um, at 6 p.m. Make sure you be out there. But back to the review. Um, let's let's talk more about what I like. I love the fact there was brutality. Oh damn, my light that went out. Sorry about that. Yeah. This movie is brutal, but it is so good to see a film, a slasher film, that can actually not show you everything. Wow, like who would have thought that you can actually get away with not showing everything in the film and kind of leave things up to your heart's desire or let your mind wander. I loved a lot of the kills were subtle and different. Yes, you will have a strangulation, but there will be several different versions of a strangulation. There will be a stabbing, but there's several different versions to stab someone. I thought it was like really great how they did the variety. I thought that was very epic how they did that. I also love the fact of like how Laurie trained. It wasn't just like, oh, this I hope I'm pronouncing it right, that Dos Ex Machina where all of a sudden, she's like, this badass powerhouse. No, like this film like actually shows her going through like the motions to prepare. Um so many nods to like really like almost, well, I don't want to say almost every movie, but there's several different films in the franchise that this movie pays homage to. Obviously the first one, obviously part of the second one, obviously uh Halloween Season of the Witch. They drop so many names in this film, of different little things, Easter eggs that they do verbally. It is crazy how much stuff like I have to watch it again just to count because I think I lost count after 10. I think I counted 10 Easter eggs, um, of just random stuff that they just kind of threw in there. Some stuff you've seen in the trailer, like you've seen the Silver Shamrock mask. Um, you've seen the woman with the pink robe and the rollers. I think that was straight out of part two. Um, you've seen the whole like the kids bumping into Michael Myers, and it's like this thing, this like tone. Now, speaking of the tone of the film, like it does kind of keep you together. Some people did complain about the prom scene, which I thought was kind of fitting, kind of like a segue out of it, but it fit just a little bit. It wasn't something like they just sprung up there, but there was something that happens at the prom that I thought was just like, okay, honestly, we could have like really dealt without it, but I'll let y'all figure that one out. Um, and then let me see, what else did I like about this? I love how it's paced very well. It is paced very well, even with like the scenes without Laurie Strode, the scenes without the granddaughter, um, where Michael is just kind of like roaming the neighborhood, like fuck, like my neighborhood, like you know. But it's paced very well. It clocks in at like an hour and 49 minutes. I think hour and 49 minutes, and it didn't feel like it. It was one of those things where I was like, man, like I could have sat through another 15, 20 minutes of it. I hope there's a director's cut or like deleted scenes. I would love to see what they cut out. Now as a film student, shots were beautiful. Oh my God, shots were beautiful. Shots reminded me of the original, which I remember seeing the original on Channel 26 in New Orleans as a kid, but the first time I watched it uncut was the Blockbuster. I bought it for like $2.99. It was and it was like a Blockbuster case. It was $2.99. It was the Blockbuster right off of Elysian Fields and Old Gentilly Road, which man, that just goes to show you how long ago that was. I don't even know if I still have that VHS. I don't think so. But either way, there was shots that was like, matter of fact, there was even like some stuff that was kind of thrown in from the Rob Zombie cut of it, like just certain things that I would probably say the brutality. The brutality was probably a little bit of the Rob Zombie film. The gentleman that portrayed him, oh my goodness, did this dude study? He must have went to mime school or something because it was almost it wasn't a copy of what Nick Castle did and what the countless other gentlemen. Chris Duran is another one from I think H2O. Um, it wasn't like I said a carbon copy. It was like it was like he took a little bit of this and perfected it in his own way. He took a little bit from this Michael, perfected it his own way. Um, he took a little bit from Taylor Maine, perfected it his own way. I love big, hulking Michael Myers. But again, this Michael Myers will be probably in his 60s, late 60s. So I understand that, obviously he was intimidating, but he wasn't like the big hulking, like Taylor Maine or Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Like, he wasn't that big. But I mean, it was still big enough to where he was an imposing threat, unlike with Chris Duran, which I like Chris Duran, but his height was what threw me off. He still had the mannerisms. I thought he did a damn good job as Michael. That was pretty much on point. Damn, what else did I love about this movie? Notice I'm saying what I loved about this movie. I mean, that's how good I think it is. Honestly, I'm just going to throw my rating out there. I'm going to go ahead and give this bad boy a full marathon. I really did enjoy this film. Cons, like I said, some of the stuff at the prom was kind of like, there are a few head scratching moments with the jokes, but it's like it didn't take me out of the film, but it didn't add anything with the film. I'm gonna tell you this though, that little kid from the preview, the little kid that's getting babysat, man, that little kid is funny as all hell, and it was believable. That was the thing I was kind of worried about when they said Danny McBride was on this. I was like, okay, I like Danny McBride. I like some of his work. I actually like him more when he's not being comedic. Like, I loved him in Tropic Thunder. I loved him in This Is the End, the Apocalypse film. I like that. Ease Down and Bound. I liked some of that. But I was like, man, like his background is comedy. How can he not throw a little bit of comedy in there, but not make it too comedic? And he actually kind of found the balance to a degree with certain aspects of the jokes and whatnot. Again, I do apologize why I look like I'm like all sporadic and out of place. Um, but yeah, it was just like, man, like it was pretty good. Um, I think honestly that's about the only thing I have to really say bad about it. Um, okay, yeah. There is one big thing that really did kind of take me out of it. The fact that, and they do this with all of them. Okay, yes, we know once Michael escapes, we know where he's going. But he does something about, I want to say halfway through, and you're like, how the fuck did he know that? I'm gonna leave it at that because you know how we roll with on Movies on the Run. There's absolutely no spoilers. All right, y'all. Freddie Lee Jones III. I already gave you the rating. I can go on about this movie, but I'd rather do it when I'm in a refreshed state. I will watch it again. I'm gonna try to do another review. All right, everybody. Freddie Lee Jones III out.